Oga, Monza.
Madam,
Come here.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Good morning, madam. Good to see you. Hello, how are you? Thank you very much. Okay. How are you? My friend. Madam, good morning, all. Madam, so your Oga go went abroad. Okay. Good to see you, madam. Well done. How are you? Okay. Why are you shy? Okay, madam. How are you? Give me the money. Madam, good morning. How are they? Well done. My people, you know I was here now?
Yes, sir.
Good to see all of you. Well done, thank you. All right. Chief of trade. You know, as we sat down there, the commander trader said he has invited some oracles here as a suspect. So somebody spoke to me and said, maybe that's why the organ designed this place like a shrine. Somebody said you designed this place like a shrine. I see that somebody put that. But I told you I'm buying a job when he said so. Is that a guy? Let me have a guy. Is he here?
He's not here, sir.
Okay. Why is the guy out?
No, they are not.
They're not here?
Not here.
Okay. I wanted to tell this audience a story about General J.G. Mohammed. It's unfortunate that he's not
I
here.
will convey the...
Okay, please convey this message. You know, when we were cadets in Mogadishu, we had this senior cadet, the member of 37 regular class. Unfortunately, he died in Nigeria. May he so rest in peace. So as cadets then, was a very noisy cadet. So whenever he sets out to pack any of the juniors, from far, he would start shouting, "Hey, cadet this, cadet this, move out!" So normally, Oga J.D. Mohammed was the regular culprit. So whenever the pastor sets out to pack General J.D. Mohammed, he would start shouting from afar, "J.D. Mohammed, come on, let you up!" As soon as J.D. Mohammed hears his name, he will go for the nearest mat and start praying. Every time the J.D. Mohammed is praying, this man, the imam of the academy or what? So unfortunately, there was this particular day, I don't know what made Oga Jakwana to shout. So he just knocked at his door. J.D. Mohammed, come on! Oga Mohammed went for the match. No, just take it. There is no prayer today. So I wanted to remind him. And for General wiping out, even though we were told as cadets, that some people, were beyond their knowledge. But all what that taught us was how to go on our own. It would be nice to see them. Alright, that said, I host the Commander, Training and Doctrine Command of the Nigerian Army, Major General Kevin Alibe. You know, when they are calling his name, they call it Alibe. His name is Alibe. And you all heard him when he was calling my name as if he was the one that gave back to me. So I'm just emphasizing the closeness. by presenting his name correctly. His name is Ali. Principal staff officers from Army Headquarters, corps commanders they are present, the Director General, Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center, and Director General of the Land Forces Simulation Center, Commander Natchak, departmental chiefs from Training and Tactical Commands of Nigerian Army, commandants of any schools they are present. Formation commanders are eminent resource persons, senior military officers, both serving and retired, other distinguished participants, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I thank the commander, Training and Tactical Command of Nigerian Army and his team for inviting me as a special guest of honor at the opening ceremony of this all-important Doctrine and Training Conference 2025. I am indeed delighted to be here, and I appreciate the commander, the chief of training, commandants of Nigerian Army schools, and all stakeholders of the Nigerian Army training sector for your efforts in driving training generally in the Nigerian Army. Please permit me to use this medium to particularly commend you all for successfully implementing the Nigerian Army Training Directive for the year 2024. I think you all deserve a sound applause for your ingenuity, sincerity of purpose, resourcefulness, and sacrifice. Thank you all. As I understand it, this conference aims to offer participants a veritable platform for in-depth discussions on implementing doctrine and training directives in the Nigerian Army in the year 2025 and beyond. I am pleased to note that the conference organizers align its theme, which is understanding Nigerian Army doctrine for effective training within a joint environment, with my command philosophy, which is to consolidate the transformation of the Nigerian Army towards bequeathing a well-motivated and combat-ready force that can effectively discharge its constitutional responsibilities within a joint and multi-agency environment. As you may have noticed, my command philosophy is built on 4 key pillars, which are leadership, sound administration, professionalism, and combat readiness. The combat readiness pillar explicitly addresses the importance of doctrine within the Nigerian Army. This is simply because doctrine outlines how the Army fights today's wars by defining standard processes, practices, tactics, techniques, and procedures. Thus, at the tactical level, actions are guided by established doctrine or drills that outline how to execute tasks covertly. The operational level involves less specificity in doctrine and emphasizes more on operational art and design. While doctrine is about how we fight today's battles, rather, concept which is in the idea sense is the Abinga of doctrine, focuses on how we change the army for future battles. Concept advances ideas for significant change based on proposed approaches to operations and technology. When a concept is validated, its ideas are transformed into doctrine. Hence, both concept and doctrine ultimately shape the Army's training and procurement efforts to enable the service to achieve national objectives. This underscores my commitment to realistic training, adequate troop sustenance, pragmatic equipment procurement and maintenance as critical requirements for combat readiness and operational success in the Nigerian Army. It is no news that Nigeria's current security and defense environments are characterized by both transnational and domestic challenges. These challenges include terrorism, insurgency, banditry, and conflicts between farmers and herders. Additionally, we face widespread economic crimes related to oil and gas pipeline vandalism, as well as secessionist agitations, amongst other concerns. In addressing these challenges, the Nigerian Army has prioritized equipment upgrades and manpower boosts in the past decade. However, the intensity of our commitment to resolving the security issues at hand has made it difficult to comprehensively review how we train to fight this battle, while the modern equipment we have acquired vis-a-vis the nature of the threat we face. Within the Nigerian Army Training Directive 2025, with the Nigerian Army Training Directive 2025 explicitly mandating the Training and Doctrine Command, Nigerian Army, to spearhead a paradigm shift in our training. This doctrine and training conference could not have come at a better time than now. Therefore, I expect the conference to thoroughly assess Nigeria's current security and defense environments, critically evaluate our training curriculum, and propose nuanced ideas on how we train and fight. Fortunately, most of the participants in this conference are the key stakeholders in the Nigerian Army training value chain who can help achieve this task. Observers will note, since assuming command of the Nigerian Army, I have consistently emphasized my commitment to enhance the quality of leadership and instructors across our training establishments to ensure the right blend of competencies to drive the change process I envisage in our training activities. Well, I must note that by the time the postings will come out, you see an emphasis on this. To this end, the Army headquarters will in the coming months look into the aspect of accommodation, training aids, and welfare packages for instructors and students in our training establishments. However, because one good turn deserves another, the Army's training establishments must fulfill their part of the responsibility by showing more commitment and providing valuable inputs on the most effective ways to train our personnel for today's battle and prepare for future challenges. We must not lose sight of the fact that only when we train hard and right in peace that we can be confident of bleeding less in war. In closing, please permit me to, at this juncture, sincerely express our deep appreciation to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, for his strategic guidance in our effort to confront security challenges facing our beloved country, Nigeria. The Nigerian Army remains committed to upholding Nigeria's constitution, and our loyalty to the government of the day is unwavering. I equally thank His Excellency the Governor of Niger State, Mohammed Umaru Bago, and the good people of Niger State for being good hosts to many of the Nigerian Army's training establishments and facilities. I commend the commander, officers and soldiers of the Training and Doctrine Command of the Nigerian Army for their untiring efforts towards enhancing the professional competencies of the Nigerian Army personnel. To our resource persons and other guests, thank you for making yourselves available for this all-important stakeholder engagement. With the quality of resource persons and participants I see here, I do not have any doubt that the Nigerian Army headquarters will have quality and implementable outcomes from this conference. On this note, I have the singular honor and privilege to declare the Doctrine and Training Conference 2025 open and wish you all fruitful deliberations. Thank you and God bless.
I respectfully request Commander Training and Doctrine Command Nigerian Army to please invite a special guest of honor to unveil Emmanuel, the commanders.
I have the singular honor and privilege to unveil this manual on chemical warfare for the good of Nigerian Army.
Oluyede, Nigerian Army Medal
among several other medals, honors, and awards. Director Generals, Principal Staff Officers from Army Headquarters, Doctors of Tribal, Commandants of Nigerian Army Training Schools and Centers, Commander 31 Artillery Brigade, the Chief of Staff, Headquarters Stradok, and Commander 013 Quick Response, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with a great sense of duty that I, on behalf of the Stradok family, welcome the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede Nigerian Army Medal, to this year's Doctrine and Training Conference. We feel special to have you here in person, sir. It delights me in the same vein to welcome Principal Staff Officers from Army Headquarters, Director Generals, Corps Commanders, resource persons, participants, and invited guests to this conference. As you are aware, this annual doctrinal ritual sets the tone for training activities in all Nigerian Army training schools and centers by drawing inspiration from the extant Nigerian Army proactive responsive doctrine to guide our training on how we should fight. Hence, the theme of this year's conference is, quote, Understanding Nigerian Army Doctrine for Effective Training Within a Joint Environment, end of quote. This theme was carefully selected with emphasis on jointness in line with the Chief of Army Staff's command philosophy, which is, I quote, to consolidate on the transformation of the Nigerian Army towards bequeathing a well-motivated and combat-ready force that can effectively discharge its constitutional responsibilities within a joint and multi-agency environment, end of quote. Thus, the new emphasis for tailor-made approach to training is to develop capacity to respond to the multifaceted and sometimes mutating security challenges the Nigerian Army is tasked to mitigate. In doing so, it has become clear in the increasingly complex modern operations environment that the Nigerian Army must work with other services, government security agencies, as well as non-governmental stakeholders to secure the country for prosperity to thrive. At the national level, the Nigerian Army will be operating largely as part of a joint task force or multi-agency outfit, while retaining the readiness to do same under a multinational force within a regional or global arrangement. It is therefore accepted that the first step to achieving the desired effectiveness within the joint or multinational environment is to have well-trained and mission-capable troops. These responsibilities fall squarely on our training schools and centers. If you like, the commandants and the divisional training officers of these institutions, based on our current doctrine. Without preempting the lecture on doctrine, it is important to remind us at this juncture that doctrine stipulates how an army is organized, trained, and fights. It determines the order of battle and expresses how military forces contribute to campaigns, major operations, battles, and engagements. It is therefore important for us as officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army to be able to inculcate the Nigerian Army Doctrine 2022, which is based on the philosophy of proactive responsive doctrine in our training in order to be effective during operations. To help understand the spirit of the Nigerian Army Doctrine 2022 and subsequently lead the discussion on the selected topics for the conference, we are honored to have a collect of oracles as resource persons and invited guests. Relatedly, this conference was designed to have more time for discussion than the preceding presentations to permit more perspectives and direction as the conversations unfold. To the commandants and divisional training officers, Please make the best use of this conference to guide your training activities as you return to your schools. Also, amplify the fact that the Army cannot do it alone, so we must respect and collaborate with other services, ministries, departments, and agencies of government. I am pleased to inform that we have completed the installation of 20 multimedia platforms for real-time training in 19 schools with the control here in Trado. The manual for the use of this platform is in the works and should be available to all the schools very soon. On a special note, sir, kindly recall your approval in November 2024 for Trado to produce a manual on chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear warfare. I want to most dutifully report that the assignment has been completed. As contained in the program of events for this opening ceremony, sir, immediately after your remarks, we shall most respectfully request you to unveil the Nigerian Army Manual on chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear warfare. 10,000 copies have been produced and will be distributed through the Nigerian Army schools and training centers after the conference. The special guest of honor, sir, based on your desire to reposition Trado Nigerian Army to perform all its primary roles and the particular directive to guide training towards mission-specific capabilities, we have commenced work on the modified training format as well as the final work on the manual for the employment of special forces. In this regard, we are working with some retired senior officers to have the manual ready by the end of this month, sir. We have the draft actually. Dear invited guests, please permit me at this point to express our gratitude to the Chief of Army Staff for his personal and institutional encouragement and support to Trado Nigerian Army since his assumption of office in November 2024 as the 24th Chief of Army Staff. We are grateful, sir. Before I close, I want to thank the Chief of Training Army and other principal staff officers from Army headquarters, senior serving and retired colleagues, and other resource persons for accepting to add value to this conference. For the upteenth time, I want to put on record the efforts of Nigerian Army School Commandants at ensuring the success of exercise Mugu 2024. Please keep the flag flying as the training activities of the year 2025 begins with this conference. You have yet another opportunity to close this year on an even higher note through exercise Mugu 2025. To my tireless staff and supporting elements here in Trado, I appreciate you all for coming through as always. Once again, I sincerely welcome the Chief of Army Staff, resource persons, and all participants and invited guests to Headquarters Training and Doctrine Command for the Doctrine and Training Conference 2020.